So, the Merseyside derby, the last one at Goodison, before they moved to a new stadium. Early kick-off as well, and that coming after one of the hardest weeks we've had for a long time with Man City and Real Madrid and Newcastle. Now, normally a manager will study a team's form and look at their last sort of few games and come up with a picture of a game plan of what the team needs to do to combat the way that this team play in terms of their tactics, in terms of their press, their style. And while I would suggest, of course, that Slot does do that, I think it's far more valuable to just look back 7 months and put more of the emphasis on studying what happened 7 months ago in the last Merseyside derby at Goodison. That game we lost 2-0. That was a game where we had 77% possession. We had 23 shots to Everton's 16. Everton had a 62% pass accuracy rate. Ours was in the high 80s. Everton had 227 passes to our 717 passes, and he beat us 2-0. There were a few reasons for it. And that's why I suggest that Slot really studies that game. Because if you look at the team that we put out that day, it was Alisson in goal. It was Robbo, Konate, Virgil and Trent. It was Szoboszlai, Curtis Jones and McAllister. And it was Salah, Nunez and Diaz. So not that different. You would actually say that is a stronger team than we have available to us right now, in the fact that Trent's just coming back, Konate's injured, Alisson's been out, McAllister's banned for this game. But the thing was about this game, why it is so critical to study it and learn from it, is because Everton, for all those stats I just mentioned, in the first half of that game, they won every single ball from a set piece. The tactics are very basic when they play Liverpool. They try to outfight us in every area of the pitch, and that is going to happen. 100% that is going to happen. And what they do is they play for fouls. And they're very good at playing for fouls. It's a Sean Dyche thing. Last year, we only had 6 fouls awarded to us. They had 13. And the reason they had 13 is because when they get into advanced positions, they go down under the slightest touch. Now, they might not get them all, but they'll get a lot of them. And then comes weapon number 1, and that is to just hit us with long balls, hit us with set pieces. And last season, they were unbelievably successful at it. They actually bullied Van Dijk and Konate. Konate wasn't in the best of form at the time, but they won everything. If we're attacking and they win the ball, they'll launch it. And they'll launch it to whoever they can, whether it's wingers or up front. And that player will just wait for contact and they will go down. We cannot do that. If we do that, we are playing 100% into their hands. Last year, they were doing it so well that it got to Virgil and he started remonstrating with the referee throughout the game, trying to get the referee's attention that, look, they're doing this all the time. They're elbowing, they're nudging, they're pushing, they're doing this, they're barging. They're just using aggression. But it did get to him. And the other thing is, and we know this with Dyche, he will pile about 4 players onto Kelleher when there's one of these. And so the keeper won't be able to get out. And they will fight for everything in the box. And we've got to be ready for this. So, irrespective of what they've done in the last 5 games, where they didn't score in 4 of them, and then the other day they beat Wolves 4-0, they only had 5 shots on target the entire game, scored 4 times. But forget about that. Forget about how they have played, because how they play this Merseyside derby is completely different to how they play other games. This is, I know it's a cliche, this is their cup final. They're still going on now that we lost the league at Goodison Park last season. And guess what? We're 7 points clear at the moment, and they've got a chance of reducing that to 4. That is so important. And the 3 points is a byproduct. The fact that they can potentially put Arsenal and Chelsea and Man City back in the title race will have that crowd roaring them on from the first second to the last, and we've got to be ready for it. We weren't ready for it last season. By the time we realised that they were swamping us and out battling us, now fighting us, we couldn't get it back. So the paths to success in this game are very simple. We've got to match their heart and determination and drive from the very first second of this game. We cannot afford to let it get away from us. We cannot afford to let them start bullying us and putting us on the back foot and launching set pieces. We can't give stupid fouls away. We can't get tight to them and allow them to use that ploy of going down with the first touch. We know what's going to happen. So if we're not ready for that, then shame on us. We can't allow them to turn this into a brawl, a scrap, a fight, and forget the fact that it's a football game anymore. It's just two teams battling each other for physical superiority, because we are far, far superior to them as a team. There's reasons we're 21 points above them after only 14 games in the league. And there's a reason why we were fighting for the title last season and they were fighting for relegation. We have to play the football. We can't play the atmosphere. We can't play the occasion. We can't play the fact that it's the Merseyside derby. We've just got to play our football like it's any other game. I know that's easy to say and harder to do, but that's the way we've got to approach it. We've got to play Gakpo, Diaz and Mo Salah up front, because we've got to stretch them. We've got to cause them all sorts of problems with pace. And last season, Mo Salah just was coming back from an injury and he was miles off it. Darwin Núñez played, had an absolute stinker of a game. So let's get Luis Diaz down the middle. Let's have Gakpo and Mo Salah try to take them to the cleaners on the wings. We've got to have Trent. He's been far better defensively of late, but we saw what he did the other day. And that, we've got to have Trent, Robertson. They are going to go after Joe Gomez. 100% guaranteed they are going to go after Joe Gomez. We cannot play Kwanzaa. We can't. We can't play him at right back, but we also can't play him in the centre either. Joe Gomez has got the experience, but he needs to step it up. He needs to step up his aggression in this game. He's got to go on the pitch knowing that he's going to have one of the hardest battles of his life in that back four. And we need Virgil to keep us calm and marshal that defence. The other one last season, Jurgen put McAllister as the number 6. It did not work at all. We've got to have prime Ryan Gravenberch there. And I know the poor lad is playing far too much football, but we've got to play him in this one. He has been so brilliant this season that this is not the game to leave him out. This is the game where last season, not having a proper defensive number 6 significantly helped Everton in winning that game. The good news is this shouldn't be a surprise to any of these players, because as I say, last year the majority of the team who will take the field tomorrow took the field 7 months ago. So they know what happened and they know what went wrong, so they know what they need to fix. One other big factor here is that it is the last ever derby at Goodison. That is going to play a part in making sure that every one of these Everton players gives absolutely everything to win that last ever Merseyside derby at Goodison. And we've got to be ready for that. If there's anything that we have to be going into this game, is that we've got to be ready for the fight of our lives. We thought Newcastle were aggressive in the first half the other day. That's nothing compared to what Everton are going to do on Saturday afternoon. Our lads have got to be absolutely mentally and physically primed and ready to out-football Everton. They've got to be ready to use all the brilliant assets that we have got. Use the power of our midfield. Use the creativity of Trent. Use the brilliance of Mo Salah and the pace of Gakpo and Diaz. Use Szoboszlai to drive forward. Use the guile of Gravenberch and put them on the back foot. Have them retreating, not attacking. And if we do that, we will win this game. We're a far better team than them. Let's go show it. You never walk alone. See you after the match. Ta-ra.